Canelo Alvarez is open to the Terence Crawford fight. Finally, this is what I was waiting for, guys. This was the moment where I was like, finally, Canelo, my respect has shot up astronomically after that, because just putting him to the side and saying stuff like, I'm not going to get any credit for him and stuff like that. I know like a champion like Canelo Alvarez doesn't actually believe that, because I know in the past he's given Terence Crawford his flowers. You know, ever since Terence Crawford has even been on the radar of a lot of pound for pound lists, Canelo has honestly given him the respect he deserves. And then all of a sudden when the talks of, you know, Canelo and Terence Crawford, you know, when that even started becoming a, you know, even a little bit of a conversation, he kind of shut it down and said, you know, he's a lot smaller than me, which, you know, that's a given. But someone who's so outspoken to fight Canelo as Terence Crawford has been, I feel like you can't overlook it. And now that, you know, if it's not Benavidez, if that fight's definitely not going down, why not get another big name under your resume? And I'm not saying that, you know, it's going to be the most impressive thing in the world if Canelo Alvarez beats Terence Crawford, but me personally, you know, me as a fan, I'm going to be very impressed, because there's a lot that Terence Crawford has to offer still in that fight. Obviously, the weight is going to play a factor, and I'm not going to say that it's an easy fight for Terence Crawford and Terence Crawford's going to style on Canelo in this fight. I'm not saying that. Is it a possible outcome? Sure. You know, I wouldn't really know what to expect, but for sure the size and the weight is going to play a factor. But these guys in terms of height, they're about the same. You know, Canelo might be smaller, so when it just comes to height, obviously, when it comes to physical size, there's no doubt in terms of physical build that Canelo's that bigger boxer in the ring. He's gonna be the bigger guy if they were to fight. But just hearing Canelo Alvarez be open to it, it just made me feel like, yeah, that's the respect that Terence Crawford deserves. I mean, you don't just become the pound for pound #1 fighter in the sport of boxing and, you know, you're too small. If he's willing to take the risk and he's willing to do it, obviously, I feel like it's got to be at least something to consider for Canelo Alvarez, because other than the Benavidez fight, what fight would people really want to see? They want to see him go up and fight Usyk or something like that. Honestly, you know, Terence Crawford willing to come up to 168 for Canelo Alvarez. Canelo's probably thinking in his mind, that's kind of a good offer, because he is much bigger than him. I know Canelo, like any other great boxer, has a strong ego and has a lot of pride. And because he's the cash cow of boxing, he also wants that big purse, that big paycheck, which is understandable, and he rightfully so deserves that. But I think this fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, if they're able to finalize it and negotiate it to an extent, I think it's a great fight. Let's see. You know, they ordered Fondora and Terence Crawford. That happened just today. So let's say that goes down. Edgar Berlanga gets stopped like we expect him to. Fondora gets beat by Terence Crawford. That's a big fight. That's a big fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, no matter what people say. And people can say that Canelo Alvarez is going to show Terence Crawford why there are weight classes for a reason, and he's going to destroy Crawford and do the same thing that happened to Amir Khan. You can say that, and maybe that's true, but let's see it happen in the ring. You know, if you guys got to remember, Terence Crawford is asking for it. Who are we to say, you know, Terence Crawford better stay away? Like, no one's going to be able to tell Terence Crawford that. And Canelo Alvarez, if it's that easy, you know, he's going to make an example out of Terence Crawford and show all the other guys like Teofimo Lopez why it's not that easy to come up in weight. And then maybe if Terence Crawford gives Canelo a shot, you know, Terence will give Teo a shot, or you know, for a big payday, because that's still, no matter what people say, even though it's jumping all over weight classes, there's a trend now. There's no more like, this guy's strictly at, you know, lightweight, this guy's strictly at 147, Canelo's strictly at 168. It's not like that anymore. You know, he may be fighting there now, but these guys are jumping all over the place, because there's a new trend in boxing where it's almost a goal to not really become undisputed in every weight class, which is impressive on its own, something that Teofimo Lopez has done, something that Terence Crawford has done, something that Clarissa Shields has done. But to also be a champion in different weight classes is more so the cool thing to do now, being able to move up and do it comfortably where you're not depleting yourself. You have like Devin Haney, his reign at 135, being undisputed, being the champ to unify all these belts. he deserved that, but at what cost did he do it, right? Like, he had to drain himself at 35. He's draining himself at 40, and now he's going to fight, you know, like he said, he's going to make fights happen at multiple weight classes. He's going to make the big fights happen no matter what weight it's at. So he said he could go to 47 and maybe end up at 54 at some point in his career. So there's a new trend of boxing going on where it's not all about becoming undisputed in your singular weight class. You know, people are going to do it. Terence Crawford's going to do it. He's done it, but a lot of fighters are just moving up in weight. You know, they're just collecting 1 or 2 belts and then, you know, on to the next. 1 or 2 belts on to the next. So that's why you're seeing guys like Teofimo Lopez, Terence Crawford, Canelo. These guys want to, like, do other things. Canelo's already done other things. Terence Crawford moved up to 54. Teofimo Lopez wants to move up and fight Terence Crawford because it's not really a thing to just stick around in one weight class. When you stick around and wait in one weight class, these big fights aren't being made. So why not move up or move down to make big fights happen? I feel like that's a fine strategy for me, because ultimately, if it was a scenario like the UFC where everyone at lightweight, the best are fighting the best, and everyone at, you know, welterweight, the best are fighting the best. But that's not the scenario in the sport of boxing. So it's forcing these fighters to say, okay, let me just move up in weight then and make another big fight happen for, you know, someone at a higher weight class, because I'm not getting the fights I want in my division, so let me move up. That's what the reality of it is for guys like T.O., guys like, I think Tank is going to face that issue as, not an issue, but that complexity where it's like, at 35, no one's really worth it. And the one person that you want to fight, Shakur Stevenson, that fight is going to be difficult to make. So, let me think. Let me go to 140 and handle business up there, beat some of those guys up. So it's like, that's the mentality that this new generation of boxing has. It's not all about becoming only, you know, the welterweight champion, becoming the next, you know, of the 4 kings of boxing. It's now more so, how do I make the most money? How do I make a big fight happen, especially in an era where it's hard to fight the best competition in my own weight class? So I got to make big money fights outside of my weight class, even if it means going up or down. That's just the way the sport is nowadays. It's just a different time. It's a different trend in the sport of boxing. I don't know. You guys can let me know in the comments down below whether or not you guys think it's a good thing to have these fighters constantly, you know, moving up in weight, moving down. But I feel like if the big fights aren't going to be made, I don't blame these fighters for moving up in weight. You know, Terence Crawford, he's on the back end of his career. Not saying that he's on, you know, the decline, but he's definitely has limited fights left, because I don't think there's much more for him to prove in the sport. There aren't many fighters that I want to see him fight still. So if it seems like, to me, it seems like Terence Crawford only wants this Canelo fight, and then he's probably going to retire after that. But he wants this big fight where he's getting a big challenge. He's probably going to come in as the underdog, and then at the same time, he's still willing to do it, and that's all he wants. He doesn't care about fighting Boots Ennis. He doesn't care about fighting the best at 54 or 60. He wants to go to 68 and fight the cash cow. So I think that's something to respect, and I'd be excited to watch it. I'd, you know, take my money. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about Canelo accepting the possibility of fighting Terence Crawford. But thank you guys for watching. Comment down below. Thank you guys for the constant support. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next Nabs Boxing video. Peace. That's going to do it for another Nabs Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.